Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Steuben County Board of Commissioners meeting for Monday, June 16th, 2025. We have a fairly large agenda, so we're going to try and move this along as best we can. There have been a few changes to it. Bear with us as we adjust to those. First item on our agenda this morning is Mr. Isaac Lee with Steuben County Economic Development.
Thank you, Commissioners. I appreciate it. Thank you, Kelly, for adjusting me after the notice of the press release for Northeast Indiana Partnership, which is where I have to be at 10 o'clock. So I appreciate it. Before you, like in past years, I get the pleasure of working with County Commissioners. I try to be proactive in terms of the budget requests and allocations. In my requests, like in similar years, it has not changed. Again, for 2026, we're looking at the 175 for our economic development. I had laid before you a couple documents that kind of show, again, what we pay attention to, what we work on. You also received today in paper form the last update I gave to my board in regards to a strategic plan. Pretty detailed update there. Something we are watching, I'm sure it's what you're watching too, and it's kind of outside of our norm, is what the impact of summer session and next session will do with Senate Bill 1. Again, that's what everybody's looking at from a funding standpoint. We are watching it from a collections standpoint in terms of what it will do, again, to seed it. Of course, we look at things that impact the way that we do economic development. Business personal property tax was one of those tools that we had on a local level. Of course, that impact, it would be a positive for a business, but again, tools that we have available to us to be able to do economic development in limits our full lives. So I'd be happy to answer any questions. I know this is the start of budgeting process. I'll extend my services throughout budgeting process. Should you need me for any of those items. I did also include some kind of historical documents to where what we've seen with seeded collections going up over the years in terms of our total expenses and percentages going down. I'd be happy to answer any questions. Try to help you with some time.
Thank you. Questions for Lee? Okay.
Today, I'm sure I know something.
Happy to answer. Thank you.
Actually,
Good morning. So unfortunately, I have to request some money for the payment of language line. With pretrial services, we have to convert some of our English forms to Spanish forms. And language line is quoting us at $279.73 just to convert for forms. We are grant funded, so we do not have the funding within our grant to cover this request, nor has the state provided us with funding to cover this. That's where we're at.
The commissioners pay for the language line for all the departments, so I do have that fund number available. If you guys wanted to take care of it in that, you can.
is there enough
Thank
funds to take care of it?
We have plenty.
What's that number?
1138.30503.
Sure.
Sorry.
Quick question. Is this something that's being required of the courts?
The state is getting on pretrial services agencies, making sure that we're including non-English speaking individuals into our target population. Prior to this, we did not have the funds to interview or appropriately supervise language barriers. However, the state is basically saying, figure it out. So we have to update our forms and get them converted so we can appropriately supervise them and then figure out from there.
Thanks for sharing that. Further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
All right, thank you.
It's that time of year in my cycle
for my cyclical reassessment that I need to bid again for the next 4-year cyclical reassessments. So I just need your permission to start it all up for the paper. Start my process.
It's a 4-year contract. right?
Yeah. Yes,
It's typically been done by Nexus in the past. right?
correct.
I know I've asked you several times that, I know the state doesn't fly over, but whether we can, get in on the state's flyover if they got the right spectrometry.
They only have the ortho straight down, and Garrett has it in his plans to definitely do that next year. So we will have 2 years in a row of flyovers, 1 year of not, and then we'll start again with spectrometry again. That's outside of this scope, though. We do use that as part of our reassessment tool.
So it would be in addition to,
Spectrometry?
Yeah.
Eagle View Connect, I guess is the new, yeah, that's a separate contract. Yeah, this is just for the cyclical Nexus, or what the, can't really say Nexus, our current vendor. They provide us with all of our trending, our validation for sales. They go out and do new construction, and they do the boots in the dirt reassessment. We do 10,000 parcels each year over a 4-year cycle.
Questions? Motion.
Second.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Kim, we have to work with that schedule a little bit. It does have to be advertised twice. So we were working our way backwards. So we're gonna have some date changes that we'll get with you on.
Hi, Slade. Morning.
Morning. Here to request permission to reapply for the Justice Partners Addiction Response Grant. That is the money we use to pay for a public defender and initial hearings. I've also included a $1,000 request to assist with pretrials, interpretation fees.
Approved.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Andy, Robert?
Yeah.
Thank you.
There.
Hey, good morning, Commissioner. Stuckey,
Can't keep up with the scroll here.
sipping right along.
Yeah. 20 pages.
My first item there is the OVC, that's the app. So I'm looking for approval to fund that for another year, be paying that out of my drug seizure fund.
Thank you.
Now I feel like I'm on an app. Yeah. Yeah, right. Yeah, so the app system there. Okay,
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye. Thank you. And last but not least, what we've been talking about for better than a year now. I went to council. We've all agreed and approved funding out of the TSAP for what I needed on one of the invoices for the mapping system in the 911 center. This will bring us up to date again and open up opportunities for other agencies, including ourselves, for management, as well as, I will say, more efficiency within the center. It's a good thing. So I do have 3 invoices. They are individual invoices.
They're all for essentially the same.
They are all for the same purpose, correct? One's software, one's programming, and one's licensing.
I'll make a motion to approve. Items A, B, and C.
Second. Further discussion. Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
Thanks, Commissioners.
Thank you.
I have no further update on the generator yet. Hopefully another week here, we'll know more on that.
And we got the standby,
Standby is in and running fine. Yep, they did wonderful. We did that at 2:00 in the morning that next night, so that's all up and running. Switchover went a little rough with shutting down the software stuff. They did a great job working on that, but got it up and running. Took us about an hour and a half. So it worked out very well. They did find, we were told that we would have to upgrade our boards. Is what went wrong with the generator switchover. They did find the same system in which what we have now installed, which is 30 plus years old. So they did find brand new, same units, which would save us considerably in cost. So that was wonderful to hear. And they will be here beginning of next week, if not this week.
you have to go through another shutdown then, switching.
Well, that's what we're kind of doing right now. We're outsourcing it. We're getting some quotes from some to see if there is a way to do it live or whether we will need to shut down yet again. There's been some suggestion of needing to rent a generator to hook everything up to so that we don't have a shutdown. There's also we haven't gotten a definitive answer, but one has suggested doing it live. And then several have already said, probably the best thing we do is shut it down, pull the generator in. Yeah, so we'll know more here by the end of the week. We have a few people coming in to get us quotes and talk to us a little more about the engineering of those systems. So we'll see. Hopefully it'll be minimal.
Yes, thank you.
That's okay, it gives me a second.
Are you ready for Kathy then?
Yeah, he's next.
Good morning, I'm Kathy Parks from Children First Center. And you guys have supported us in the past, and we're again asking for some funds to support Steuben County. So there's 6,194 children in Steuben County. And currently, through the Healthy Families Program, we're only serving 33 of those. And we did receive $10,000 from Meyer for safety supplies that we can only give to the people that are in our programs. And so we're really looking to get more people in our programs. And 14.7% of the children are in a food security issue, and 10.2 of them are living in poverty. And so there's a lot more children here that we need to be able to serve, but we need to have them know about us first. And so we're really pushing our marketing and doing some campaigns. We did 10 hours of unfunded services just last week, which cost us $1,000. And so we're committed to serving these children, but we would certainly appreciate some additional funds to be able to do that. Thank you.
That's me. Good morning. First off, thanks for having me. My name is Sandra Tenez, and I'm the Executive Director with Region 3A. Here to request Steuben County's annual allocation of $12,445 for the year of 2026. This funding is not only critical for our local match for the federal planning partnership grant that we have with the EDA, it's a reaffirmation of the longstanding partnership we've had with Steuben County. One that we deeply value and we request to uphold in 2026. For those in the room who may not know, Region 3A, as familiar as others, we proudly serve Northeast Indiana since 1974, supporting the needs of not only Steuben County, but we also serve Huntington, LaGrange, Noble, Wabash, and Whitley counties. And as a regional unit of government formed through Indiana statute, we exist solely to advance the interests of only our member communities. Over the years, we built a strong relationship with Steuben County, and we've worked with a wide range of projects from planning grant administration, GIS support, traffic studies, and traffic planning. Our team is committed to providing high quality professional services that help turn the community's goals into reality. We also serve as a trusted liaison to state and federal agencies, offering a single point of contact and streamlined communication and improves efficiency for all 632 municipalities that we serve. These relationships are not only beneficial, but they're essential to the success of any state or federally funded project. We deeply value our longstanding partnership with Steuben County. I enjoy coming up here quite often and look forward to continue that collaboration in the year ahead. Your support helps ensure that Region 3A can deliver services and guidance to our communities here in Northeast Indiana, which many, many rely on. Thank you for your time and your trust in us, and we hope to continue your investment through the coming year.
Okay. And I know you've recently taken over the
Yes.
helm there.
Yep.
And we're working with them with a feasibility study.
Correct.
Yeah, they update on that.
That will be, I'll have to check with our transportation department. I know they were working on that. I asked for an update, so I can check on that for you for sure.
This would
They
be
help
for,
with that too.
okay.
Yep. Yes, definitely. Yeah, I just recently was appointed executive director. Matt Brinkman left in early May. We've been working together. We actually got hired on the same day 10.5 years ago. So he got to go out and have all the fun, and I would stay back in my comfy office. So now I'm out, but recognize a lot of faces and recognize a lot of names.
But like, yeah, really interested in knowing the outcome of that.
Yeah.
We need to keep that moving
For
forward,
sure.
so,
I'll double check that.
Appreciate your-
Yes, no problem.
thank you.
Anything else? All right, thank you.
Morning.
Great.
So Eric Yoder with the Y and Kelly Bailey, who knows a lot more about the Y. We're here to request our allocation for 2026. And our focus this year is on our aquatics. We did a pilot program last year, which went really well with MSD and all of their second graders. Close to 200 of them were in the pool for 8 different days. We were in the classroom for 2 days. And then here in a few weeks, we're going out to the fairgrounds and we're doing safety around water, Crooked Lake as well. This is a cost to us. The Y is a nonprofit. A lot of times we don't have that look from the outside, but our revenue is 50% comes from membership. The other 50% we're looking for elsewhere. So something to note on that, but that's why we're here today. Kelly can tell you a little bit more about the aquatics.
So the safety around water, we're going to send that in the fair. Hopefully that'll be an annual thing. We've always done safety around water at the pool, and it's free to all kids from age 5 to 17. This is going to be, we're taking it to the lake because the majority of our kids obviously are going to go to the lake. So we have kids at the pool and the lake, but they have a better chance of being at the lake. So we're going to do safety around water in the community this time. We partner with STIRT. STIRT comes in once a month at the first Sunday of every month, and they use the pool for training or for like getting new people on board with their STIRT team. We have the wave maker team, the annual swim team uses the pool for practice. We've just been doing a lot of safety stuff with the pool and the staff. Just like a month ago, we had wear your life jacket to work day. All of our lifeguards and people in the office wear their life jacket to work just to promote water safety. So where there's water, you'll find me.
Any questions?
You guys have any questions? I think I said, like, we're the only pool in the county, so we want to make sure we're doing our job.
I do have a request. Is the request for the 30,000 at the top? What was the?
The request is for 21,174 at the bottom. You have I think I sent it to Abby later. There's a budget. It's Abby's budget.
Oh, okay, thank you.
Did you get your projects done from last year that we, think you had, bring some into, classrooms, right?
So the allocation you guys gave last year was for scholarship. That was our request, but the gift was for scholarships. So we did, to answer yes, we did around 50,000 scholarships last year.
You had some capital improvements here, right?
That was the request, but the allocation was for scholarships. So we haven't done this. We haven't been able to do this capital project.
Anything else? Thank you.
Good, you're ahead of schedule. I apologize. Trying to break up a dog fight, so that's, I'm not being weird today.
Thanks for clarity.
Well, you know, I'm just trying to keep it real. So I had submitted our annual allocation request. The last 2 or 3 years, we've received $40,000 from the county. A couple years prior to that, we received 50,000, and we were in hopes of increasing that in 2026 and moving forward. However, we're grateful to also keep the 40. We, as some of you know, because you have served on our board for different things, the Steuben County Council on Aging has for a long time been treated as one entity when it's really kind of two entities. It's Star Transportation and it's the Heritage Club. Starting in 2023, we have to restrict funds. That anything that comes in for Star has to stay in Stars. It cannot be used for the Heritage Club. So with that now not being one entity, one organizational budget, the Heritage Club is having to figure out a long-term goal. I mean, we're good for now, where there's no issue, there's no, but we're trying to look for the future and what can we do to do that. Some of the grants and such that we apply for, they want match funds. Currently, we can use that 40,000 to say that we received that from the county and we're going to use for different things. However, if that were to increase at all, we could use that additional percentage to say that we're using that. For instance, we just applied for the Steuben County Community Foundation. We need additional parking. Everyone knows that. However, we didn't have additional match funds to show that we had community partnership. So the hope is with anything over that 40,000 that potentially we could receive, we could use that as community partnership to use on future grants.
As just from the budgeting standpoint,
Yeah.
I've sat on the board. I know you were able to take portions of the director's wages, portions of various other employees from the Star.
We can still do that.
You can still do that.
So the executive director, which is myself, and then the office manager, we are paid 60% by Star Transportation and 40% by Heritage Club. Also, 2 years ago, Star entered into a lease agreement with the Heritage Club. So we do also receive, and you know, like through the grant, we were getting like 12% of all of the things were being paid by Heritage Club. But since we had to start allocating and kind of segregating the money a little bit more, we do have a lease agreement to where Star pays the Heritage Club.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Matt, good morning.
Good morning, Commissioners. Morning, Matt. Matt Mearson with the St. Louis River Basin Commission, here to present our 2026 budget request. $7,332 is what we're requesting out of next year's budget. That's just a couple $100 more than we requested last year. Steuben County is one of 6 member counties of the commission. We were created by the state back in the 80s to address water quality flooding concerns. I've included in your packet a table. Statute kind of informs us on how to request money from our member counties. We break it up based on land area, although the St. Joe River itself is not Steuben County. 75% of the county drains to the river, and that land area is what we use to calculate the apportionment. I will say that the counties all have a municipal member as well. So the city of Angola actually picks up about 27% of the county's total. I spent too much time at the last meeting telling you about what we do, but I feel like there are 3 projects that happened the last few years in direct support to the county. One of them was back in 2022. We commissioned a sort of a study of the county stormwater and floodplain management efforts around policies, ordinances, and that kind of stuff. And then in 23, we installed a flow monitor, a stream flow gauge on Fall River, which not only helps with, potential flooding issues, but really larger interest in groundwater availability, what this tells us about our aquifer. So we've been monitoring that. And then most recently, we had the support of some AmeriCorps members to help with water monitoring that was going on. It's collaboration between the Health Department, Lakes Council, and the Stormwater Conservation District. We got a couple of young people trying here. Give you dollar figures on each one of those things, but it was a way that we, provide direct financial support to the county through those efforts. This is the last thing. The operating budget is what we're apportioning here. Operating budget of $69,000 this year. And if you look at what we bring in from the state, it's a 2-to-1. So for every dollar the county gives, we get 2 from the state. So there is a good match there for you guys. Any questions? I appreciate the support and the participation, most recently, Mr. Scheit.
Thank you.
But
You haven't been getting in trouble up there, have you?
No. Had a nice conversation.
yeah, it was a good one last time. I'm glad you were be there.
Yeah, I believe he knows about water.
And I didn't know that until the meeting. I was like, how do you know that stuff? So,
Try to keep it a secret.
right.
Anything further from Matt? Okay. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Thank you. You're worried about being behind.
I'm moving.
Yeah, I know. It always changes. I guess. Especially if you let Bill.
You got kicked off.
Yeah.
Currently had scheduled. Well, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I've been aware of it. That now we haven't catered. Yeah.
We are gonna move to.
Guess what? They're in the schedule.
Last correspondence I had with the.
Rodney, are you ready to go?
If you want me to.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, I think.
Trying to move
They're
things
looking
fast.
at survey protocols.
Just a little bit. Just a little bit, it's gonna go some cool.
Rod Brakenberger, Executive Director of the Maumee River Basin Commission. Our allocation request for 2026 remains the same as it has been since 2008. It was 7242. I think I provided each of you via email with a copy of we call it our return on your investment. Instead of focusing on that, I'm just going to take just a couple minutes to share with you a couple of concerns that we have that we've received. And one of those being, so we want to try to make sure that we're focusing the remainder of this year and all of next year into keeping Steuben County in the National Flood Insurance Program. Out of the 92 counties, 90 in the state of Indiana participate in the National Flood Insurance Program. The only reason the other two do not is they never joined to begin with. We're back in 1968. So I share that with you because that is a very, very important thing. Would like to talk to you about that at a later date in more detail, but that is going to be one of our key focuses in the upcoming year. The other thing is we continue to receive some water quality complaints in the northeast corner of your county. There's issues between apparently Ohio and some farmers crisscrossing back and forth. What we would like to do is assist you in possibly bringing all of the entities together, and not from an enforcement standpoint, but from an educational standpoint. Sometimes we get a lot further when we try to educate folks than try to regulate. And if we can assist you with that, bringing all the parties together, whether it's IDEM, State Chemist Office, Steuben County SWCD, NRCS, all of the parties together and talk about that particular issue, hopefully we can help provide some assistance in that issue. And with that, I guess if you have any questions. Yep.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. New business? Payroll for June 13th, $602,020.61. Run the payroll. Second. Any further questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
You both had an opportunity to review the monthly financials. Questions? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye.
It is just for reference.
I didn't even try.
For number 3, I can just have it in the minutes that the documents were taken under advisement. Like it for that.
As I say, let's do a motion, we're gonna take them into.
Motion that we take the 2026 annual allocation requests under advisement.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
Scrolling,
Aye.
like which scrolling.
Two.
Interviews.
Yeah.
Executive sessions.
And executive sessions. That's. To let's approve the executive session on June 4th.
Move to approve.
Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
And to administrative meetings. Are they now, they're both the same day. EMS striker and the USI insurance coverage.
Approve.
That's for those. Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
I didn't get through all the minutes. I don't know if you wanted to hear. So let's probably be easiest if we did those all in one session. So let's maybe pick those up at the next meeting.
Yep.
So we'll go through them now and then. Are you abstaining from the first one?
So the invoice, your next one,
Yeah, it's all
is that where you're at?
Yeah.
That's to get the highway department paid for that truck. Is it- Prosecutor's office.
Sorry.
That's the vehicle that went to the prosecutor's
Oh,
office, so
okay.
that, yep, that gets his money back into his fund.
Move to approve.
Second. Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by aye. The next item surprised me in my first year as a commissioner. After that,
Yes.
I just kind of chuckle at it. We need to send the state a certification that we don't have any covered bridges.
Again.
Again.
Every year.
It's a monster of bridges.
We'll move to approve.
Second. Are you sure we don't have any?
You build it?
If we do, let me know.
Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye.
Who was first? Was that Andy?
Sorry, yeah.
Yeah.
It could change from year to year.
Let's see, Steuben County has requested a waiver of fees for the auditorium. Program this Thursday.
Yes, it is, coming right up. If anybody hasn't bought their weekly rental pass, you better get it today.
For it.
Their weekly gate pass.
Yeah.
Because once they move out there, the price goes up.
Questions, concern, motion? Maybe first, maybe second. Any further discussion on that? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
They know that we signed plats today.
All three signatures on both of them.
Yes.
Claims. Any questions on the claims?
To approve. $575,949.04 in addition to items A, B, and C of the title cycle.
So
Okay, any further discussion?
Just to note that item C was for tax refunds and not out-of-cycle funds was our.
Sorry. Thank you.
Anything else? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye.
Aaron will not be here today, he's sleeping.
Well, Vicky just walked in, and since our
We are way ahead of schedule. Which is good.
Can't leave here.
Nikki's time schedule was kind of off, so it might be easier to get her in. Nikki, if you're ready. We had you out of order to start with anyway.
So Lee,
That can break my heart. Go ahead.
I thought I was after.
We're doing a correction to the agenda today, right?
We moved you down, Nikki, so you didn't have to be first, but he
You were,
moved up.
you were scheduled at a time slot on my agenda, so we're gonna move you up to the.
You were at 10:25, which
She
is
wanted to listen to
between
everybody
two
else
ten.
first. Yeah.
Yeah, that's probably not fair.
So we'll bring you on up. Yeah, just so you know, those that are presenting budget items today, that I'm going to hold you strictly to 5 minutes. And knowing that next Monday and Tuesday, the commissioners have budget workshops. So if you require additional time, you'll be able to come in then. Because we have 2 full 8-hour days scheduled.
We're undivided attention.
I kind of wondered, so that helps me.
I would say Cliff Notes first.
Okay. I'm on it. Good morning, commissioners. Morning, everyone. Is this on?
Morning.
Feel like it's-
Oh, it might be dead.
Oh,
Well, thank you
You tried.
for taking care of the
you did just-
IT for the sheriff. During this generator.
Oh, yeah. That was exciting. All right, I'll just briefly go over this. I have no idea if this is what you're looking for, but I worked with the auditor's office. We worked some of my account names. Hopefully it'll give us a better picture in the upcoming years of our expenditures as it pertains to some of the things like telephone operations, kind of combining some things so we have a better picture every year of what that looks like. Most of my budget, whether it's in the 1,000 fund or the 1138, is dictated by my licensing and maintenance and support agreement. So those are somewhat set in stone. I really don't have too much of an increase. I guess in the Fund 1000, I did increase our continuing education because it was zeroed out last year for this year. So I put it back in for myself and my staff. So you might see an increase in that. And also I'm going to be paying for the ongoing maintenance costs of the PDF program for the county, but significant savings to the different departments that I've already talked about. So in my salary request, I did request or am requesting that my classification of my hours be changed to the 80 hours, 2080. Because I'm available 24/7 and I'm working over and above by a bit as far as hours. So I do have a list of projects that I'm working on, about 12 of them right now that I have upcoming. My question or my thing that I will bring next week at the workshop is, what do I do this year and what will roll into next year? Because of technology, it's dictated to me by sudden failures that I experienced like last week. So, in generators and whatnot. So that really will be my education this year. In the next is what will be in 1 year and what will actually roll into the next year, but I can encumber funds from 1 year into the next year to cover that if I have some left. So the one big increase that I see, but it's a benefit to us, is Corsica, our MSP. There was an 8% increase, but it's their pricing structure that's changed. So the value to us or the benefit to us is that the things that we used to have huge project costs with them are now going to be rolled into our yearly amount that we pay them, or monthly amount. And so even though I have projects that I have to do, a lot of their consulting is going to be included in that. And they're going to allow us to have weekly on-site people here training my staff, with my eventual goal of bringing more and more of our functions in-house. And that's where I'm right now seeing a lot of the cost savings things that we used to hire out to be done.
that we can do ourselves. So, I don't know if we have time to even go through my project list. Again, my focus is going to be on ways that we can save money. I'm already in talks with the maintenance department as far as our Wi-Fi project. Instead of making a project that we pay somebody to come in and do, I think that our staff can actually put in Wi-Fi access points where we need them, when we need them, instead of having a big price tag. We'll put them in as need arises. I have 2 departments right now that made requests I'm working with. And also looking at maybe combining our website functions with the Granicus framework that's already being used, because we're really duplicating. And that would be a really big cost savings, I think, to the county. So is that, do you have questions, or do you want me to go through my list?
Next week. Yeah, so a lot more detail next week. Thank you. I think she's showing that she's investing more than she's.
Yeah. Yes.
I have a big to-do list.
Thank you.
Thank you. I was gonna say, you might just hand it to him, if he doesn't want to scroll for it.
What's that?
was gonna say-
Well, the next one would be on.
He's going back and picking in that one.
Very nice.
Okay.
Morning.
Morning. 60. Page 60 on PDF.
Yeah. Page 60.
Page 60. Thank you, man. Yours is what? 60. Oh, it's not the same. Ian's is 68.
Say 69.
Okay, try 68.
Yeah, 60, beginning of St. Joe River.
68, still 60.
All right, do 68.
68.
82. So.
68 is,
Yeah, mine's 68. There's our line up then.
mine's 68.
Which page?
There's a 68. It's one page too. It's just gonna be one.
I got that.
Did you say autumn?
Autumn, yep.
Oh, okay.
I was like,
It's right at time.
I'm Autumn Sprenger. I'm the director of the Well Child Clinic, and I'm a lactation consultant up at WIC, which I'm not here for that, so who cares? But if you don't know the Well Child Clinic, we do free physicals, dental checks, and vision checks for children under 18. We don't ask income, we don't ask insurance. We're usually the first line of care for any child. Like, they would come in at 5 years old, they've never seen a doctor, never seen a dentist. So we help establish their care. And we also act as a financial barrier. So if that parent does not have insurance, or if they're out of a job and there's a lap in coverage and that child needs a filling, we pay for it. We don't go over, I want to say $850 per child, just so we can help as many as we can.
Sorry, I did not prepare a speech. Do you have any questions?
So do you have any questions for Autumn?
I mean, we thank you for your ongoing monetary support that helps us keep our doors open. We do only run 3 clinics a month, but in those 3 clinics, like, we help a lot of families. A lot of families don't know we're there, but when they do, they tell their friends because it's such a great service. All of our volunteer healthcare providers come in on their lunch break. So we run a clinic from about 12 to 1:30, depending on which doctor we have that day. And they come in on their lunch break, and then we fit about 15 to 20 kids per clinic. So that we help about 60 kids a month. So parents usually ask what their next step is. So a child comes in and they have a cavity, and a dentist around here is really hard to get into, especially for a child, and especially if they have Medicaid. If they have Medicaid, we'll still take them, we'll screen them, we'll say, okay, with this extensive care you need, this is the dentist you need to go to. We don't pay for them, obviously, because they have Medicaid, but like, we act as that navigator, seeing where they go next.
Questions? Thank you very much.
Yep, thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, it's on.
Page 8.
Hi. I'm Kayleen. I'm the board chair of the Soil and Water Conservation District. If you're not familiar with what a Soil and Conservation District does, we provide direct sources of educational, financial, and technical assistance for the county, and we do appreciate your support. Our budget request is the same as last year. Basically, some things that we think might be coming up, we have a 2010 vehicle, so there's always maintenance issues with that. We may have to replace that at some point. And also with the federal government inconsistencies lately, we may end up having to pay rent at some point. So that's in our budget as well. So do you have any questions for me?
Okay.
No.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Greenwater. 5 minutes.
Well, you want me to start a clock?
That's when I get to the budget portion, right?
That's what you got the budget
I got
for.
something prior to
That's right.
that.
Right?
Yep, you are correct.
I think it's 5 minutes, so.
Then how about we just go, you guys say yes, yes, and we'll go on.
Good morning, commissioners.
Morning, late.
Gotta love humor on a Monday morning. So coming before you this morning, seeking permission to purchase a laptop for our EOC operations, our auxiliary communications group. One of the laptops that we've identified within what we have is we've been working to upgrade our system and our space that we're now occupying and making improvements. Looked at a laptop to try to get some programming on it, and after talking with IT, their suggestions were throw it away, it's too old, it won't work. And so going, again, working with IT and some of the software that they're, I should say hardware, the computer, the laptops that they're looking at, they were able to secure a price and a quote for the purchase of a Lenovo Premier, Lenovo ThinkPad touchscreen. I believe you have the information there. Total cost to our department would be $1,186.82, and I do have the money available for that purchase. It's just like you go ahead to get it.
Move to approve.
Second.
Further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor, signify by aye.
Aye. Hey, real quick, if I could do it audible because we got just a little bit of time and I received this last minute, I'd like to apply for a grant. Commissioner Howard, this is the one that you sent me last week while I was in Texas, the NIPSCO grant. It's the NIPSCO Public Safety Grant. I have paperwork here for you guys to look at it. Your review. It's a $500 to $5,000 grant that's available for public safety entities. The information is there. It's literally one that we would apply for and receive the money for. What I would like to do for this is, and I know because it's short notice, the grant actually is due Thursday. And again, I just found out about this last week. What I'd like to utilize the money for, I'd like to apply for $2,500 to be able to purchase weather radios. We currently purchase weather radios out of our public awareness line item that I have. And I deplete those funds every year with purchase of radios. There are no weather radios that we like to purchase. They're $49.49 each. If we were able to apply for $2,500, not seeking the full $5,000. But apply for $2,500, that would allow the purchase of approximately 50 radios that we would be able to have. It's my intent to take these radios with us to a public safety event that's coming up this Saturday at the YMCA, where we're partnering with the health department and the YMCA to be there. And I'm going to have what we currently have available to pass out to individuals. The National Weather Service will be on site with us. They're sending somebody up to also be there this weekend. Right now, roughly, I have about a dozen or so radios that are available. This would allow us, again, to purchase, if we're awarded it, the 50 radios that we would then have. Over the last 3 years that I've been in this position, we've been steadily purchasing radios and passing them out, making them available to the public, programming them, delivering them to homes, even programming ones that individuals bring into our office. You guys are well aware of the threat that we have with severe weather, storms, tornadoes, with the two tornadoes that impacted us at the end of March and early April. Weather radios serve as another frontline tool in advance alert of those storms as they're coming into our community. They're very beneficial.
Good question. Seek this grant opportunity.
Second.
Okay, anything else? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye. My only question is with it not being a state or federal one, can I do this with just your authorization, or will I still need to come back retroactively at the end of, or that next month to propose this to the council as well?
We'll need them to sign off on it.
Okay, is that something we can get done before Thursday? Because that's what this is.
Go ahead and submit it. I have another one that we're doing this for, and I'll explain to council. So just get with me, make sure that I don't forget to put you on the agenda.
All right, thank you. Okay, so start the clock, 5 minutes.
Yeah, 30 seconds.
Okay. That's all right. You can see my budget proposal. If you get a chance to look through it, I believe we actually have a budget that we can operate within. There's very little changes to what we had from the budget that we're currently operating under. As far as regular day-to-day line items, a couple things that we tweaked in there actually, where we were reducing some costs and putting money elsewhere, but kind of living within our means. There are only two big changes to the budget request this year. One of those is obviously asking for additional funds for maintenance for the tornado sirens that we as a county do maintain. After talking with Kelly and doing some figuring, we've spent, in addition to what was budgeted, approximately $2,600 this year on tornado siren maintenance. And after talking with the vendor, knowing that those prices are going to continue to arise as the sirens continue to age, Kelly and I both came to, the auditor and I both came to an agreement that we would like to ask for that particular line item to be bumped up from the, right now, $7,250, I think is what it was for 2025, to $10,000. That way we have that money, extra money in there, and we don't need to be coming back to the commissioners and the council asking for additional funds. If it's not used, it will stay there.
But this way we don't have to keep coming back. So that's item number one. The item number two, that's the big ticket item in there, is through some training that's been taking place this year with the auditor's office as a start and some conversations with the safety council. We've identified a gap in communications with county employees when disasters and emergencies occur. You'll see that there is a request in there for consideration for RAVE, which is a partner of the Motorola radio system that allows a alerting system, a mass notification system, if you will, for county employees. The price tag for that is an initial startup cost of $11,000. After that, it's $8,000 annually after. The reason that it's so much for the first time is the installation. And the paperwork, I believe, has been provided to the three of you after we had a meeting with them. So that's the other big ticket item that's in there for consideration. You guys would have that. And again, we could talk more about that next week if you would like. So roughly budget that we had last year, plus approximately $15,000 for maintenance and then $11,000 for RAVE is what we're looking at this year. With that, it was
pretty good.
I'm done.
Any questions? With these sirens aging, you start looking to see if there's any grant opportunities out there to start maybe replacing these sirens before they become a maintenance nightmare and repair.
We can begin looking at that. As mentioned by one of the other providers with the unknown state of where we're going to be with federal funding or assistance with the current administrations or administrations to come. What I am getting information by is that grant funds are going to become harder and harder for us to get. They've currently closed the BRIC program, Building Resilience and Infrastructure in Communities. Those grants are no longer available. So we may have to look outside the box beyond federal dollars for assistance. State dollars may be an option, but we can definitely keep looking for different things. I believe in one of the other presentations that I had, I think at the last commissioner's meeting, we talked about working more inwardly and being more resilient and reliant upon our community stakeholders and partners for possibilities and considerations there. The other alternative might be to look at the systems and the sirens that we have to see whether or not, as Nikki has, as the IT department has also indicated, when you look at what's available, you may have a cost savings of an upfront cost of buying something newer with less maintenance fees in the long run than what we continuously have to sock money in year after year after year. So we can definitely look at that and see what is available out there. We've had those conversations. I've had a couple of individuals in the community, lake associations, one of the campgrounds out on Crooked Lake wants me to come out and look at them for storm shelters as well too. So it's definitely something that people in the community are beginning to draw awareness to. So we'll definitely keep looking.
Thank you.
Can I make it?
Thank you. Good job.
Thanks.
Austin, good morning.
Hey, good morning.
Morning, everyone. I got one item outside of the budget. That is for our boilers for the community center. They are 33 years old. And with the age of them, they require maintenance. And right now they're down. One of them is down. The estimate, there's two estimates, are separated by each boiler. It's $5,180. And this is for an eddy current test because our boiler is leaking water. It's leaking onto the floor. What this will do is it'll send, not sure if anybody's familiar with the term eddy current. So it uses electromagnetic pulses that throws it down the tube and it'll let you know if there's any erosion, corrosion, or fatigue to the tubes. This baseline to test the tubes, and then once it's determined how many tubes are in need of repair or replacement, at that point, we would have somebody come in and replace those tubes or repair them. recommend we do them both at the same time, just for, it makes sense. Yeah, so if you do one, then down the road you have the boiler one, so.
Figures of 5,000. That just the task.
We have, I was told we have done this in the past.
That's maybe they'll,
So there is a
How much-
baseline.
What's that?
So there's already a baseline established on those tubes?
I'd have to get, well, I can see if Gary can pull it up in his email, but I've already asked him if he wasn't sure. I can work with Carl with Adult T and see if he can find something, but chances are it was a while ago.
It's all right.
So I think it was asked, longevity, how, doing this will obviously extend the life of our boilers and,
Yeah, it's,
see that,
I do have in the budget some
right?
replacement of the boilers, but this is something that'll need to happen before the winter.
$10,000 towards testing or $10,000.
You have quotes for new boilers yet?
Not a big one.
No, that's right.
So I have a quote that was provided a couple of years ago for a new boiler. There's a lot of work that goes into it. for
That was
getting it.
part of the, that longer term maintenance. Possibly a 2-year project.
Yeah. This is the last year for the brickwork. So 1 more year. Yeah.
And 1 or 2.
It's one more. On a side note, I am working with Sandra from Region 3A to see if there's grant out there.
Before I stayed.
See if there's a grant out there for, to help us replace these boilers.
There's nothing through Okra, but USDA might be an option. They have a new state director that I know, so he started last 2 weeks, so I'm reaching out to them.
What about any work on historic buildings, like old jails?
Oh, boy, yeah, jails are hard.
Yeah, well, they'll, that the, community corrections is using, yeah.
Corrections.
Thank you.
What's your thoughts, John, on the testing?
So,
The correction, will.
So we can use building maintenance and repair or Huh?
If there's an affair, that seems to be appropriate.
There was. Find it.
and
Yeah, 46.
339. Yeah, 46,887.
Yep.
second stats.
You don't need the number or anything. Building.
General fund, Commissioner 068, the number is 33900.
Yep. Perfect. That's what I said.
All right, any further discussion on those? Hearing none, all in favor, signify with aye.
Aye. Thank you. budget talk, bear with me, it's new to this as well, so. As far as line items, I've made a few adjustments, and request, food allowance at $100 for myself. Brings it up from 500 to 600. Am I going, do you need me to go in order or? Yes. Annex, we're right at that threshold, just due to vendor costs, supplies, requesting $500 for the repair, maintenance, and janitorial supplies. Till what's going on, until we figure out what's going on with the old courthouse, we had a budget for that, it's 2,500. It's June, we've already met that budget, we've already expended the money, so I'm requesting an additional $2,500. The other items I'm requesting funding for are items I'd like to see implemented on our county campus. As I talked before, replacement of our boilers. Hopefully there's a grant out there that'll help us with that due to the cost. Due to security issues and safety of our employees, I'm requesting some funding for an upgrade of the camera outdoors on the north to the parking lot. I've had several discussions with you guys before about safety items. I'm requesting some funding for a new mower and snow blower. The current one we have for the Annex EMS North, it's on its last leg. We've talked about this in the past. I know before me, there was an estimate brought forth on you guys and it was pretty large. This one is quite a bit less. The bottle filler stations are on there for the water fountains for this building. We've talked about that in the past. And then I'm requesting money for PM management software program. This helped me and my team to track assets, be able to hand out work orders. But I can touch more on that next week. Okay. Keep it short and sweet.
Okay. Any questions for Austin?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Can you go back a minute?
Sure.
Hey, Austin?
Yeah.
The 5180, I just was looking at, is that for both of them or are they, I have each.
That's a piece.
Okay, so you guys were good with the 10,000.
10,000.
All right, I didn't write $10,000. Thank you.
Yep. One for boiler, one for boiler.
Okay, I'm sure I had that right now.
I thought you were going to go to the party. Me too.
Morning, Scott. Morning. First, we have some trees, right?
Yes, and Levin's came back, 17. He came back, the 150 that he's charging for the stump grinder, if he does both in the same day, he will take that down to 150. That was the charge to bring him back the second day. So if he could do the campground and the fairground the same day, he'll take that 150 off.
150 off of.
For the stump, for the in total. That was for the stump grinding,
So what's his total?
3,700.
That's if you can do it.
Yes, and he said last week they were able to do it, and I said I gotta go to the meeting, so had to get approval. So I would hope that we can at least get the ones in the fairgrounds done relatively quick for Wednesday.
Hope didn't scan very well.
Yeah, he sent that different form. I tried printing it off and
Did you happen to bring the originals with you? Maybe we could put those numbers down.
Okay, read those numbers on this.
I do not have that with me. I got an email from him. print it off an email or just?
He,
I don't know how we chatted it. I print it off in his email and then I print it off and then scan it as well. It's whatever format you send it to us.
I can read the 2300. Take down one dead oak tree across the drive and 4 dead half white oak tree.
Yeah.
Is that right?
It would be the same trees and the same hangers as what Seven's quoted for.
says Seven'sville.
Yeah. I have 2 here from Sevitz.
Yeah, one was for the fairground, one was for the.
I can't pull that. You sent him on email or something. This is confusing. Say please.
There's 2 trees in the fairgrounds and 1 tree into the camp. And then there's 4 hangers, I think, in there.
There's all just on one. That's
Well, when he came out originally, he did the campground, then we moved the fairgrounds, he said, hey, there's no trees, we looked at them, so we're very close to it.
So each of the bids that you received from your tree guy and from Seven's bidding the same thing.
Yes. So the second guy, that's when we realized it was increasing the temperature for the fairground.
Yeah, ask London, did or did not?
They did. They said they were.
Yeah. This thing is.
Another one is it's clearly dry.
So each of that, they're both bidding a tree. They're going to take one tree down. They're going to take another tree down and remove a stump.
Yes, the stump would be.
Third tree that they're going to take down. And take the stump out and trim the tree near that one.
That's in the campground.
There's another one that they're just going to trim.
Those are all over campers.
Liability insurance up to date?
Yes. I do know if it's a dead and if that fall, we are liable for it. If it's a live tree that falls, we're not liable, then their insurance would have to take care of it.
How many of these need to be taken care of, so.
So 4 guys is a total of 3,700 for all of it.
That would be the same with Sevens now, as long as he can come in and do it on the same day, get everything done, instead of having to bring his equipment back another.
Well, that changes the bid, because if he can't, then it's a higher bid.
That says if he can't, it's not whether. This is coming out of your funding.
Yes.
Okay.
Yep. Sorry,
Which one did you guys pick?
you're great.
our tree guy. Motion by Rick, second by Andy. Any further discussion?
Thank you, I'm sorry about that, there was.
Hearing none, all in favor, signify by aye.
Right. Thank you, sorry about that confusion on that one.
Now to your budget items.
Okay, budget items, there's a couple that were just kind of like rough, for Kelly's discretion. Okay, so we just wanted to get those in there and let you know which would be, the NIPSCO one and also bathrooms, so those are both rough estimates. So the first one, utilities and NIPSCO, that's to put 3 more poles in out there to put more better lighting at the event center. Kind of like a rough estimate. We went online and saw what they charge per pole per light.
What are you using, NIPSCO estimates on these?
They had to send an engineer out and it's their poles. We did the light in there so they could cut the other lights and more of the lights that they currently have up there. Not much light that. If they send an engineer out, why aren't they giving you an estimate instead of you having to try to figure out this? Well, they're supposed to give us an estimate, they haven't gotten back to us yet.
They know what it's for park though?
Yes.
Okay, because in the past, I've seen them where they've been a little flexible and lenient with they're dealing with parks. So.
Ben's been trying to call them several times.
So the guy came out and I stood out in the parking lot and told him what we were wanting, just more light. He made suggestions of adding 1 more pole on the east and 2 on the west. And then the problem was the west poles, he would have to probably put another pole in somewhere and get a line over there. And so he was gonna run it by engineers to try and figure it out. Called him a couple times since, he's not gotten back to me.
Next one, and we're gonna keep working with them, try to get that estimate in there. So, I just said, we'd ask Kelly what to do if we didn't get the estimate, just kind of get an idea of what we're looking at, so. The event center, the 3105, we increased that for the following estimate. For the lobby, put laminate flooring out there during the carpet, that's pretty worn out and dated. And that's if we hire someone out to do that, that was labor and material. So that was through Wayside.
What was that one, Scott?
That one was $6,005. That would come out of the 3105.
Keep going. Trying to stay on time.
Okay. Next one will be the additional flagpole. That was 2,300 for labor and material as well. That would also come out of 3105. The third one for 3105 was the light poles. That was the estimate of the 12,000 on those from NIPSCO, or by NIPSCO, when we did the online search for that. Okay. And D, seal and restripe the parking lot. We can wait another year and a half if need to be, but it's looking pretty faded out there with the stripes. I didn't want to have it restriped and have to reseal it the next year and restripe it again. Excellent. Park improvements, the 4,004, we did not use anything out of that budget this year, so I'd like to take and float that over for next year and then have another 20,000 in there as well to help with those bathrooms.
We can only, you can only encumber if you have signed contracts or.
Signed contracts, right.
So you're gonna need to have estimates done.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that would help with the bathrooms because they're given a rough estimate of that prices and all you see there, so. And I didn't know, I know, within talking to a couple of the guys out there, we may be able to use it also as a storm shelter too, so there might be grants for that as well.
So better hustle on it, because it has to be done before now, at the end of the year.
Yeah. So as far as budgets, for the increases, that's all I had on those, so. And we'll work on those two that didn't get them in, we'll try to get them more set stone.
Thank you.
I do know, like, we have Austin out there looking at some of those bathrooms too. For the Indiana codes, like the properly lighted, ventilated, those are things that we're behind on out there. Bath system. Both of those are different sliders. So, other than outdated materials. Park updates. Girl Scouts just left. Got that cleaned up. I'm ready to start getting footage. So, out there this week, doing cleanup and starting on Thursday. Also during the fair week, we had YMCA coming out with safety around the water. A couple of courses that are free for kids out there. I try to teach them the safety around water so there's no issues out there. So, Steuben Cancer Association is coming up on July 19th. That's our first event with them out there. They got two bands out there, Chiku and I can't remember the other one's name. Was kind of, they got two bands coming up. So, Music Fest will be the following weekend after that, and then Goat Show at the end of the year. That we have something new coming out there. Then I did submit in the quote from Kelly Automotive too for that truck you guys asked for. I don't know if you guys want to do something with that today or, okay. That's all I got. Yeah.
It's not going to be here today, is that correct?
Charlie's here.
Charlie's here.
Me instead.
Thanks, Charlie.
All right. So for the rezone, I've got no recommendation from the planning commission board, neither in favor nor opposition. So I've got the petitioners here and the petitioner, David A. Gordon, and his engineer here to speak.
We hear about the garage complex that I have on 350 North or Kimball Road. In the lake residential zoning, it's required to have gutters and downspouts. When we engineered it, when we presented it to the BCA for our land use variance, not to have gutters and downspouts, to do the same that we had done on our other two complexes, the one at Clear Lake and the one at Crooked Lake. We were setting it up. Bob Shear did the drainage plan with retentions and drainage so that the roof water would come off onto the ground, absorb all that it can before it goes to the retention areas and slow drain through the grass and so on, absorb. We worked with county surveyor. He approved the plan. Bob designed the plan. I went back to the BZA and asked for a variance for no gutters and downspouts. We were denied that. So I came before planning board to rezone it. Lake residential is the only zoning that requires gutters and downspouts. We're fourth row from the lake. Built so many times around the lakes, I understand you have to tile gutters to the lake. Second row, you have to gutter them, bring them to the road, but we're over 1,000 feet closest point from the lake. And all of our drainage goes off our roofs into our retention areas, absorbs all it can. It has overflow pipes with proper overflow. So I'm just in to ask to rezone that to agricultural to eliminate that gutter and downspout. I don't want to force the water fast. That's the biggest battle in this county, and that's what we've fought on all jobs to make sure we do our drainage. I've worked hard to do it. Bob's done, this is our third complex. We have no complaints. We have no problems with drainage, and we've set it up the same way. And we presented it that way when we asked for the land use variance. It's all on public record. And I guess from a developer and a contractor in this county, why do we have it engineered? Why do we go and do all of that?
So originally designed it through your engineering career for construction to not have gutters downspouts, even though it's required. So why at that point, if you knew you didn't want to do gutters and downspouts, or if you thought that, why didn't you go for the zoning at that time?
We didn't think that we were gonna have a problem with that. It didn't come about till I called for C of Os and finals on my buildings. We built the first 4 buildings and everything was good, except we gonna put gutters and downspouts. And I said, we didn't design it for gutters and downspouts. We presented that. It's on the record.
But it was
Talking about it the night that I presented it for approval for land use variance to build the complex. I presented it that way, that we would not. I was asking them to put gutters and downspouts. I said, no, we're gonna do it just like we've done the other. We're gonna let the roof water hit the ground, drain through the grass and the soil, absorb all we can, and then it will drain to, we've got anywhere from 0.5% to 1% slope in most areas. And so we've had 0 problems on any of our other complexes doing the same way. And that's exactly the way. When you get 40, 50, 60 barns, the Crooked Lake complex has 70 barns in it right now. Put gutters and put downspouts on 70 barns and put a 6-foot mowing machine. You're knocking downspouts off. You have the problems. That's one of the reasons. The other was it was just more money, and it was something that we didn't need if we had a proper drainage plan. Bob can speak on the engineering side of it. So. And I presented that to the BZA when I went back and asked for a variance not to put the gutters and downspouts on. It was a 3-2 negative. And again, we presented what Bob would present to you, gentlemen, today is we designed this. We have an approved drainage plan through the county, through the drainage board, signed by the county surveyor, accepting it that way.
Even though it wasn't zoned for that.
Right. But if you think about, I understand lake residential zoning. Yes, we're in, but if you get on the backside or the east side of Lake Gage within 200 feet, it's zoned agricultural. We're 1,000 to 1,200 feet to the closest of any building. And we got a cornfield on one side, the Lake Gage dock, I think on the other side of this. At one time, I owned the entire Black Farm. So it's not like I'm asking for something that isn't already agricultural zoning in that quadrant there.
I'm just trying to understand this. I'm trying to grasp why the original design application was in a lake residential, which required the gutters and downspouts.
So he went for a land use variance. Basically, the storage garages weren't permitted in that district. So he went specifically for that use of back in 2022.
Right.
And he got that approved, which means he has to meet the criteria for a storage building. But since it's zoned lake residential in the chapter 12 of our ordinance, it requires all structures, regardless of if it's a storage complex or just one big barn, all structures would have to have gutters and downspouts, just because it's zoned lake residential.
Okay. And then You at that time applied to ask if you could not have gutters and downspouts?
Not when he originally went for it, but they did ask him at the time of the meeting if he, like, how he planned on doing a stormwater plan and asked him for gutters and downspouts. He did say at the meeting he didn't plan on doing it, but then when we went out to do final inspections, one of the things we check for in Lake Residential is gutters and downspouts, and that's when he was discovered that that was required.
And we did the whole design based on no gutters and downspouts. And it was accepted through the county grant.
So that's the zoning map. That's all I.
And I think what was the other, you talked about conservation.
Oh, the future land use for that particular section is, I believe, conservation agriculture. Where there's, in the comprehensive plan, there's a land use map, and in the area where his storage garages are, and across the street is agriculture.
That helps me understand a little better.
You need to hear from the engineer.
I don't necessarily hear.
So, full disclosure, I do work for Dan on occasion. So I don't know if you want me to abstain from any vote here or discussion or not.
Did you have any financial gain in regards to this property?
Yes.
I would say that's probably it. Takes him out of it then.
That does.
Thank you for bringing that to our attention.
After looking at the zoning map, I think there, it's. And with a no vote on us, I don't know that I see an issue with it. You want to take your expertise on this? Yeah. We have an engineer, engineer signed off on drawings. It's usually on the building side, it's have an engineer stamp something. It says the water's supposed to go where it's supposed to go. That's where I would go with it. It's kind of weird where they have that Lake Residential cut out like that and everything else around it's ag. So all that it's gonna necessarily change anything if it goes to ag. So I make a motion, we approve the rezone.
I'll second. Aye. Aye. Opposed? Abstained?
Abstain.
201.
Thank you.
Thanks, Charlie.
So for budget for us, the only thing I think that changed.
Zoning club permit.
Yeah, go
That's an
ahead.
ordinance. Gonna require 3 readings.
No,
No, not for zoning?
this is
You can't do it on.
yeah.
You can't do it.
Can't do it on it. Okay, so
I'll
bring this
let
back
Ian
around
know.
next meeting.
I'll let go.
It'll come back.
Okay, you guys good?
Now,
Sorry.
No, you're fine. Okay, so I think the only thing that changed from last year to this year for us is our enforcement, our code enforcement. We wanted to do a little bit more on the cleanup portion, and a little bit more on the enforcement teardowns. So we went from 12,000 to 25. And we're gonna ask back, I believe Clint's going to, for our tire days, ask for our money back. This where we can do a little bit more on our teardowns like we have in the past. Other than that, I think everything stayed the same. We were going to take off, since the contract year is done for HBG, we were gonna take off the 30 grand for that, but we were advised to kind of hang on to that just in case we did any sort of studies down the road for like, we got cows or like commercial solar, things like that.
back, they're asking for more on enforcement.
Yeah, asking for another officer pretty soon.
That's, I think, the plan. Clint would like to have
another full-time code enforcement, potentially a part-time code enforcement for specifically getting like the letters out and like fines and things filed office wise.
Keep it, guys. Take it easy. Yep.
I'd like to introduce Mark Wanamaker, Highway Superintendent. How are you?
This 15 days. Welcome aboard Indiana Toll Road.
Hold that against me.
All right, NDOT LPA vouchers. I got two for your approval. PE claim number 16 for bridge number 37 in the amount of $670.31 to Lock River Group. And PE claim number 17 for bridge 37 in the amount of $1,511.44 to Lock River Group.
Motion to approve those claims.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Bridge number 37 and claim number. And claim 16 and 17. Okay, there we go.
All right, any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify with aye.
Aye. Thank you. Capital project updates, Bridge 37. I did receive stage 2 plans last week, so I have those to review. I also received the stage 1 plans for the Pocabachi South Phase 1 trail extension. So those are waiting for me to get reviewed. Small structure 7, started work on that. Should actually set in the box tomorrow. So, got everything set up for the crane, so that should be coming in tomorrow, and the box should get set tomorrow.
Man, maybe we should get rid of the dirt and stone.
No, they had no issue getting rid of it.
Okay. Didn't receive any phone calls.
No, but they had no issues. Community Crossings Mansion Grant 2025-1 paving project. Met with Brooks last week. Remarked out all of our paving sections. They're going to start sometime either on or after Monday, July 7th. The additional chassis from Stoops Western Star of Ohio has been ordered, and we already have an arrangement so we can sit with the outfitter on their sealed lot until that budget has been approved. For the House Bill 1461 road funding, I've reached out to all the trustees and we're working on scheduling a meeting. Our contract to crack seal has begun. Paving Solutions started last week. We got 50 West done, and they had most of the 800 South done. Got rained out last week, so that should get finished up this week. For the toll road push project, we worked into our schedule some additional work we're going to do on the gravel road portions of 800 West and 850 West for July 7th and 8th before the bridges reopen. And they switch over to 650 West. We have it set up to start our scratch paving program Monday, June 23rd. We're pulling asphalt out of K&B's plant. We should be starting on County Road 150 West, going north from 700 north on Monday, June 23rd. We did have a need. We have, since we've switched over to the new beds, predominantly all our new dump truck beds are either stainless steel or they have aluminum components for a new welder, so we could weld stainless steel and aluminum. We got a quote from our provider, Purity, for a new welder in the amount of $11,255.15. I do have the funds available and my machine repair replace account, 1176. Like your approval to purchase a new welder.
I'll make a motion to.
Second.
Further discussion on the welder?
The old sticks don't weld very good on aluminum machine. Hearing nothing further.
Oh, there's signify by the eye.
Aye. Thank you. General operations updates. We'll be topping out patching with hot mix from the asphalt plants. Typically, we have two crews out at a time. We are almost done in the southeast corner. Then we'll be moving back up into the northeast corner and proceeding with those roads that are listed for you. Mowing every day and brushing every day. We have good weather. Next week we start May.
Fill the other two commissioners in on a message I received over the weekend about some signage that was put up. They thought our county highway didn't know how to spell Steuben, but it turns out it's not our county.
Correct, it's state of Indiana.
State of Indiana does not know how to spell Steuben on their detour signs.
They also don't know how to not point the detour arrow to a road closing. All of that's been notified to them this morning. Because today was the first day of that closure. So they posted those signs on Friday and closed the bridge over.
That's a real.
I-69.
Yeah, fun summer with the state.
Steubenbef. That's how we spell Steuben.
Okay.
So they have been notified.
Thank you.
Yep.
I appreciate your taking care of that.
Budget update. Real quick and easy. Budget is at the same number or lower than last year. There are no new positions. If there's something adjusted, most of it has been adjusted down to accommodate the next phases of grant projects like the South Trail, the trail going south of town. Other than that, they're at the same or lower. We do have a request in our restructure. We did notice that we do have two needs, which I believe we could, as approve them, and we could adjust positions or job descriptions. The first need is we have two mechanics labeled the same, receiving the same pay, but one basically acts as a shop supervisor and should make some additional funds for the shop. It's also training the other mechanic. So that is a potential improvement there inside of our structure. Also be nice to be able to say this is our lead mechanic. The other one is we have our part-time positions are structured so that they're what I would call part-time, full-time, and more year-round scheduled positions. Would like your approval to seek to work with HR on restructuring at least one of those positions, because I have two, taking one of those positions and those hours associated with that and creating a part-time seasonal position or hours for a part-time seasonal. That way we could be more flexible in our hiring because some people are available in the summer and would love to come mow and only show up to work when they can mow. Some people would love to work for us in the winter and only plow and only be here when there's plowing. I would like to have the permission from the commissioners to work with the HR department about potentially drafting job descriptions to adjust that. So we'll see what we would need to do to adjust that. So we can have a part-time seasonal and a shop foreman.
I think that'd be a wonderful idea.
Yeah, I think his part-time people should just be when he needs them, not necessarily.
As they're scheduled
Not
now,
labeled.
they're scheduled when they come in, and then we have great people who do that. But I do have an opening because one guy retired a second time. But I do have that opening, and it would be a lot better for us if we could have that flexibility. Because we do have people out there who would like to just mow. Just consider mowing the summer. We have some other people who would love to just mow.
That's not how positions function.
So I wasn't aware of that. I figured that you had them when you needed it, not there when you didn't.
They're really scheduled and it's really structured, so it's unlike how it is right now, for the people we have come with. And it is 30 hours a week and they have their set schedule and they come in. They do great work for us and we use them. They're productive. But going forward in the future, replacing them when they retire again, it is easier to hire people who only mow or only plow.
Would also be lucky to be able to retire twice.
I don't know that that needs to be in the form of a motion, but other than if we're in agreement that he can work with HR to develop those. And it appears you have 3 head nods.
Okay. Because I know the part-time seasonal kind of messes with, it has to be done a certain way, so their salary ordinance is right.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Just so you're aware, we agreed on the appraisers for the roundabout.
Thank you.
And I submitted it to the court, but I haven't got an order yet, so I'm still waiting on the judge, so. It's my life.
There you go. Thank you. Thanks for stopping in.
Okay. Andy, good morning.
Morning. How are you guys?
Good, how are you?
Good. So not a lot has changed for the EMS budget for 2026. In the 1,000 line item, the biggest increase we did there was for uniforms. Did do $500 increase. Looking to rebrand the department as a whole. Currently, we have 3 different logos floating throughout the department. So we're trying to move forward, trying to make that all look one and more cohesive for that. There's a few other small increases just for cost of inflation for our medical supplies, and then the phone bill through AT&T. Currently, we're in the process of getting rid of Verizon and just slowly going to AT&T FirstNet. The goal of reducing that cost overall as well in the future. For the 1170 lit, again, just a small increase for medical supplies in that one as well, about 10%. That's your projected inflation going forward there. We did do a reduction in gas and oil due to using county depot now. And then the EMS service agreement, the 30503, that's for our lab tech IM responding scheduling software. That was a 10% increase as well, just for overall agreements going up. The big one that's not really an increase for us is 1236 payroll. When I was going through this, I realized that the wage increase that took place in January for EMS as a whole was never transferred over to that fund. So it looks like there's an actual increase, but we did not increase the wages at all. I kept that the same. Currently last year, it was roughly 969,000 with the actual wage increase that was approved in January. It's 1.25 million. So there's an increase there, but it's not an actual increase overall for 2026. We're just staying at status quo. And that does follow for the FICA overtime and then the in the perf. Any questions?
Questions for Andy?
So do you pay for your medical supplies or your medications out of more than one line item?
So the medications and supplies come out from lit 212.02. That's where most of our medical supplies come from. So it looks like,
because there's one of these lines that has been.
yes, so in the general fund, the same actual account number 2102. That's a backup just in case we need any type of extra supplies at the end of the year. But mainly we go from the lit one first. That's where I deplete first, then we'll transfer over if we need to.
Council, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Anything else, right? Thank you.
Yeah, and to get an update as well, we are interviewing for a full-time paramedic today. So hopefully we're gonna be rocking and rolling with that fully staffed here. Position.
That will bring you up to full staff.
Yes. Yeah.
Don't say that.
I mean, just knock on wood, knock on wood.
I know, it's a cycle.
The next meeting, I'm gonna be coming.
Last time we said that, it all went.
Next meeting, I'll come to you guys and ask for approval to acquire the EMA office, the old EMA office, and make that new reporter. I'll bring that to you guys next session.
But you're in the process of painting down there.
Yeah, so we are painting, my office is painted now, and then the new admin office is fully painted as of this morning. So
And while you're painting, would you like to paint this other office?
we could potentially do that.
Go ahead and,
Yeah, do that. Yeah, thanks, gentlemen.
So it's,
Ready to go?
yeah,
Yeah. Thanks, gentlemen.
yes.
Morning, gentlemen.
Morning.
The budget for weights and measures is pretty straightforward. As you see, 25, 26 is very little change from the items from office supply down to equipment. It's maybe $25, $50 here or there. The big difference is in the salary. I did, I guess 2 years ago at the convention, national, and not national, statewide, I talked to a gentleman from the County that recently was hired, and he was the second one. They had someone who came in and didn't work out, and in a matter of 6 months, they had a new one. And I said, what's your salary? And I have called a couple places. Theirs was $29,200 for the entire weights and measures budget for the year. So at that point, last year, I asked for an increase to kind of get it a third of the way to what Mikel was paying. And now this year would be the second step to get that. So that entire budget is $25,565. And then next year, if we increase by the same amount, that would be comparable to the Mikel account. I guess to justify that, if you look at, because of our interstates that come through the county and also the grocery stores, our population might be comparable to some other counties. We actually have more points of service than a county our size, so it makes more work for weights and measures, which the jobs mainly the scales in the grocery store and the gas pumps and diesel pumps. So that's the justification there for that. Big question.
Are you able to hold up well?
Yeah.
How many miles on that?
Oh, maybe.
How many hours?
The vehicle has 14,000 miles on it. Okay. And it goes in cycles. There's times when I go to Hamilton and there's more miles, and there's times when I'm just in Angola and I'm doing a whole 8 hours a day. And so it's very few miles. Yeah, but it's a 2021 with 12,000 miles or something like that. Oh, okay. Yeah. Good vehicle to get. The last one that I had was a, what was that? It was the oldest vehicle in the county, I was told, and it only had 120 or 1,000 miles on it. I said, I'd like to buy that. And I kind of drug my feet and get it. But they said it goes to an auction and stuff. So, yeah, those vehicles last a long time because there's not a lot of miles going on.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Alex's?
Yeah. It doesn't really change much.
So it's just wage comparable with other VSOs. Seems low.
What are you talking about?
he go, yeah, did he go through West?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that did go through West. I don't know how that will work out in this,
Yeah, that would have went through.
that type of position.
I think there was a decent increase on that at the time,
Yeah.
but I can't tell you exactly.
Yeah, seems to be that one. Yeah, we did. Got through most everything. So item number 11. Any further discussion?
Oh, I was just trying to find my.
Yeah.
Trying to find the, basically do it for the.
Oh, yeah, that's what it's.
Tax. Oh, that's right.
Motion. Motion that we make an offer to position number 76110. That's what the current salary for that position, and then start them at equivalent to the 3-year step for.
You're gonna have to repeat that. Oh, wait, you need a second.
He can restate his motion before I second.
Number, you have the number there, okay?
76110,
Yep, 76110.
is that
It's just, it is a
number assigned to that?
Yes, yes.
Okay.
That applicant.
Okay,
And at the current rate of pay for that position. And starting that applicant at equivalent to the 3-year, time off policy.
seven six one one zero, at current rate of pay, and start at equivalent of 3-year time off.
So that's when it kicks into the next level, right, is year 3. I believe.
Equivalent of 3-year time off.
We do not have a policy handbook here.
No, I don't know that we do.
I'll second that. I don't want to leave it hanging out there till one more.
We're trying to confirm that. 3 years.
Yeah, let's try to confirm that that's what the next,
I will. Erin will not be here tomorrow either, so, but she will have her laptop with her.
right.
So we'll shoot her an email.
Okay.
And
I mean, it's in the policy, yeah, let's whatever that, next level.
6 to 12.
It's the next,
3.
yeah, it's 3 years, yeah, that's the potential pay.
First and second. Everybody understands what it is.
Yeah.
All in favor, signify with aye.
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 6-0. And then we can email Erin and let her know. And do you want her to reach out? Take care of all of this, and then I don't know, I wasn't there that day, so I apologize. I don't know how many interviews you've had, but did you have 3?
3.
Reach out to the others or wait until we have a,
Well, wait. till we
Whatever.
accept that.
okay.
The Hoosier Boys State. That is Christina is going to that on Thursday.
Thursday.
Then you two will be out of town, correct?
Yes. Man.
Who does that mean?
You got an motion?
No. Not at all. Just our regular stuff. Anything else for us this morning, gentlemen? Kelly, Abby, Bueller?
It's over here. Did you guys get with the surveyor's office? Did they have anything to say about that piece of property at, it's Lake Arrowhead? At Lake Arrowhead?
Yeah.
That's not set.
Yes.
Should do that. We'll discuss that in drainage. You want, okay?
I know where it is. I haven't physically gone out and looked at it. I know.
I mean, I want to give it to the county. I suppose we can take a turn around and sell it or something.
Stipulation.
Yeah.
Should have formal paperwork or anything like that.
There has to be a deed, obviously, transferring into this county.
Deed, we probably want to do a title search to make sure there's nothing
Well, we look at it.
attached to it, right?
Probably should have to go for it and look at it, make sure there's nothing,
Lane search, you wouldn't have to do a title commitment, but you could do a lane search, 1 year.
make sure there's
Could
not
we
much stuff
have,
on it or anything.
We had a plan to go check out the property.
That's what I got, that's that,
Yeah.
code enforcement, look at it, make sure there's no
Yeah. Violations.
violations on it.
Anything else?
Still outstanding, the county park dock pricing. I don't know, he's not here right now. Is he moving forward with that? Do we have pricing on it? Where are we?
New docks,
The newest section.
Newest sections?
where you
Because he wants to.
taking stuff off the shore, I thought we approved that.
But
Yeah.
you're supposed to come back with pricing,
Yeah.
see if you can move forward with it.
And you have no pricing. No pricing, I didn't know how it was being paid for or anything. I just wanted to, it's still outstanding, so I just wanted to make a mention of it.
Till he brings it back up.
Okay. Don touched on that.
Excuse me.
I'm good, are you guys?
You're still gathering information on RQAW?
What did he say?
Wait a second.
No, he responded, now are you guys gonna move forward with any type of litigation or?
I think it goes to requirements. After that is mediation and then,
Yes. Arbitration or mediation.
We're to that point. I mean, he responded back to us saying,
and we sent them all the documentation that they requested. There was a list of items that they requested.
you know what, let me check on that.
We shouldn't be dropping the ball on that because
That's maybe, yeah. that today. That's all I have.
That's it. Recess.
Everyone's right on time.
Just now. Yeah,
We got a product up.
batteries.
Battery,
Right?